You effectively have people in 4 quadrants. So you have people, the D's, they're drivers. So they want something, they want it now. The E's are expressives. And for an expressive, they're the type of person you ask them like, so how many appointments are you getting per week? They'll be like, well, you know, back when I started the business, and you're like, oh man, like,
Here we go.
yeah, I'm about to get a life story and I just asked a number question. Analyticals, these are generally your engineering types, your lawyers, your accountants, techs, yeah. And they're very awkward to talk to sometimes through the conversation. And then amiables are more the people like, the best way to think of an amiable is like a social worker or a school teacher. So they each have different values. It's important to understand what their values are. And once you understand their values, you can start to be able to like cater your sales style to the person. The thing that makes me really good at selling is I can adapt the sales process to this person I'm selling to. And so that's why being full stack is so important, because I got to be able to know how to force a one call, but I also got to be able to know how to handle the follow-up calls, especially if I'm in a wide open offer and I might be dealing with all these different personality types or communication styles. So generally, they all value and hate the same thing. And they're 2 sides of the same coin. Drivers value speed and results. That's all they care about, speed and results. What am I gonna get? How fast am I gonna get it? That's the 2 questions they care about. The thing they hate wasting time. Hate wasting time, like full body hatred of wasting time. They just lose their minds. They don't like to follow people's rules or obey processes if they think it's a waste. It just drives them nuts, so they just tense up. Expressives, so they value bonding, specifically friendship. So they always wanna become your best friend. And so on a sales call, they'll tell you their life story, and then they feel like, wow, we're just best friends now. That's kind of what your expressives are generally gonna do. So with expressives, their big thing is they don't wanna be alone. They always wanna have friends. Your analyticals, they value accuracy and correctness or factualness. And the thing they hate is being wrong. They can't handle being wrong. Anything inaccurate or wrong, they just want to point out. And so one that people get confused a lot is expressives and amiables, because it sounds like an amiable would value friendship, right? Because that's what we think of amicable. Amiables, though, what they value is agreement and peace. And what they hate is conflict. Now, some of us, we serve markets that we have generally one dominant personality or communication style. So for you guys, it's primarily analyticals. The vast majority of the people you're going to deal with are going to be analyticals if you're targeting software developers. Because we all have kind of like a working personality type, and people of a certain communication style lend themselves to certain professions. Does that make sense? So like, that's why amiables do so well in school environments or social working environments. Nonprofits, that's where you're going to tend to find an amiable. Versus like expressives, they're going to be more in customer-facing roles, service industry, they're going to be in sales, they're going to be in customer service, account management, that kind of stuff. And then drivers, they're generally going to run businesses in most cases. Sales, business ownership, lawyer, like a lot of those types of folks will be in there. So on this side of the quadrant, they're more prone to delay, so you're gonna have to force decisions on them. I'll hard close on this side way more frequently. On this side, I'm a lot less likely to hard close. Try to hard close in analytical, see how that works for you. Analyticals generally will have the belief that if you have to hard close me, it's not any good. That's just how their minds work, because they're generally pretty pattern aware. They can recognize the games. So I know if someone's on this side of the quadrant, I'm gonna have a lot more follow-up closes. If someone's on this side of the quadrant, I'm gonna have to use a lot more scarcity, urgency, and hard closing to force decisions. Anytime I'm going into a market, if I'm going after accountants, then I have to adapt my message for the message that an analytical likes, which I know what they value. They value accuracy and correctness. They're generally emotionally not going to open up. in most cases. Now you guys will have a little bit of a different situation because you're dealing in the realm of emotion, so you will get more opening. And that's the thing, you got to think about the market and the product because they'll line up. So your market, they're going to behave a little bit different than, for example, if I'm a B2B solution to an analytical, they don't see how it's relevant. So because they don't see how it's relevant, they don't open up. But analyticals, for the most part, they don't open up. They view emotional manipulation negatively, and you actually can cost yourself the sale when you start to do those sorts of tricks. Amiables and expressives will give you everything on a silver platter. Right? If you ask them, so what's been your struggle? They'll be like, well, blah, 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 and they'll tell you the whole pain, and they don't wall up at all. Drivers will wall up a little bit more, but if they see that it's relevant, they'll be more open to sharing. And so they're political in how they share their feelings, as opposed to expressives. Expressives will put their foot in their mouth because they'll tell you so much. And same with amiables, they'll share a lot more than sometimes they should. If you look at it, amiables are the type of people who are over-accommodating. They're the type of people who, if they're in a situation, they would describe themselves as, I put other people's needs in front of mine until it turns into resentment, and that they allow other people to walk on them. That's kind of their energy. Whereas drivers are the opposite. Drivers are going to walk on you. If you let a driver walk all over you, they're going to just walk all over you. And so drivers are the ones who get on a call and they go, yeah, so tell me what you got. So how's this work? And they'll snap at you too. You're like, oh, don't you snap at me. But drivers are easy. Drivers, you just handle like a matador handles a bull. You just go, yeah, of course, I'm happy to do that. So here's a little tidbit of information, and what I really need to know is some more stuff on this, so blah, 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 with this question right now. And they're like, oh yeah, well then, and you just use it like a red flag for a matador does a bull, and then they'll run right through it, and then you have them where you need them, and it's like, boom. Then they fall right into your frame. Whereas expressives, the problem is, if you let an expressive be an expressive completely on your sales call, your call is gonna take 2 hours. They're just going to talk and tell you their whole life story and everything like that. So sometimes, if you need to truncate your sales call and make them shorter or faster on expressives, because that's generally going to be your problem with expressives, is your calls will run really long. If you want to shorten your sales call on an expressive, you need to let them tell the story and the pain points or their desires. So when it comes time to dream or it comes time to go into the pain, go all the way into that. But then at other points, you'd be like, okay, so in one sentence, tell me this. If you had to use one word to describe this, what would it be? And they still won't use one word. They're going to use 10 because this is how they are. But you can start to narrow it down by giving them constraints to their answers before asking the question. So analyticals, when I was doing calls that were 15, 20 minutes and 6-figure deals, there were the analyticals. Because you don't need to go into the emotion, and if it makes sense and it's the best logical solution, they're going to do it for the most part. So I was able to just do big deals really quick on analytical market. I could pop them off all the time. Amiables, they're going to want it, and then they're going to be afraid at the end, and you really got to, like, of anyone to hard close, amiables need to be closed the hardest. Because amiables are the type of people that they like things to be status quo. They're trying to keep the peace all the time. And so they like to stay in what's familiar. And so, they'll, yeah, I know I need to do it. I just think maybe not right now. An amiable is the type of person you got to stand up for them because they don't stand up for themselves. That's just how they are. So you got to be like, if it's like a school teacher, well, I don't know if I can get around to doing it. It's like, look, how long have you been struggling with this? When are you ever going to do something for you? You always put everybody else's needs first. When do you come first? How much longer are you going to keep putting everybody else's needs in front of yours? What happens if you continue to behave this way? And at the end of that call, you're reframing them. You got to keep snapping them out of their pattern to get them back into where they're trying to go. And so that's kind of how these all play. Do you guys have any questions on any individual personality types?